Hey everybody, and welcome to the Super SHERO channel. I appreciate you tuning in. I believe you're as hungry for information on this hurricane as I am, and I've been doing all kinds of research. I have spent basically the whole day looking at what's available out there for us, and what I'm finding largely is a repeat of the same information, which is quite frustrating. And I don't have anything new for you because obviously I'm not flying through the eye of the hurricane. But I did expect a little bit more from the main sources. And I have been finding some interesting things. I found a live feed coming from St. Thomas while the eye of the hurricane was passing through there. It's an adorable 13-year-old girl, which I think is going to be a celebrity after what she did is live stream that storm, and she did a fabulous job. At some point though, that feed did cut off. I don't know, they were running off of a generator, and it was just showing out her window heavy winds, and they were right there. They had a cement structure, and she said that they had a cement ceiling as well. So her place is built specifically to withstand the storms. But there was nothing, at least I didn't see anything catastrophic happening there. And they were getting the full brunt of it with the most of the storm out in the ocean. And so I'm not as horrified as I was before, because I saw someone standing there in their house on this tiny little microscopical island going through this storm. So unless you live in a straw house, then that might be a problem. I mean, if they can make it through this, I don't know if am I getting apathetic? I really don't know, because this thing is so powerful. It is so huge, and it is coming to Florida. Very highly likely. It might still kind of turn away, and maybe we won't get the eye, but I just don't know, unless you live in a straw house, like I said. If you're in a solid structure, I guess everything's going to be okay. Unless you're in some kind of a huge flood zone, again, I think everything's going to be okay. I keep hearing all this repetition of the same information coming from ABC and CNN and NBC and CBS and Fox News, and they're all saying the same damn thing over and over and over again. They're not even trying to be creative, which is amazing. They're doing just like, really patchy, bad quality live streams. And when you go on YouTube and you click live to see who's streaming live, and when you click on it, you think you're going to see something, and then you just see their logo and they're playing some ridiculous music, and there's nothing going on. And if you had the patience to wait, then they do, I don't know, a minute or a couple of minutes of just repeat news, the same thing you saw before. So, as far as I know, there haven't been any significant changes. The time is now 5:04 p.m. when I'm recording this on Eastern Time on September 6th. So, apparently the islands are all still there. And if St. Thomas could withstand the eye of that storm, I'm sure Florida can handle it as well. That doesn't mean you don't take cover, but I'm saying I was feeling very nervous about this. And again, if I was living in a straw house, house made of toothpicks or leaves, then I would say, you should be absolutely terrified. If you are in a decent structure, I don't see why there's going to be any problems, as long as you're not in a heavy flood zone. And the only real danger I see is the giant trees falling and power lines. Those are the biggest dangers that I'm seeing on everything that's been shown. I have seen some pictures of some cars being turned over, but certainly all the buildings are still there. So I don't think anything's getting exfoliated unless it's a flimsy structure. As a matter of fact, something that was very interesting. There was a live feed of a shed. Those little aluminum sheds you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's. No charge for the advertisement. Just a normal, it looked like maybe a 8x10 or 8x8 little shed. And the winds were just howling, and some of you might have seen that. And this shed was just beaten and battered by the wind, and they got the strong gusts and everything. And I watched it forever, and the stupid shed was still there. Now, it got beaten up, and finally the front door came off of it. But the roof of the shed was still connected to the shed after the little front door of the shed came off. And then the roof kind of started like coming up on a corner, and the wind was getting underneath the roof and all that. That ridiculous tiny little shed that's held together with nothing compared to a house was still there. I could have been inside that tiny little shed sitting on the floor, and I would have been fine. So I was really intrigued by the fact that that little shed didn't just go flying off. Now, they did have it tied down a little bit, but those massive winds should have torn that little shed to smithereens, and it should have been gone. It was still there, so that's it. Really nothing awesome, and I'm shocked and disappointed that I don't have some great information for you, because I have been all over the place looking for new information, and they keep playing the same junk over and over again. These are all the main networks, and most of the time on their live feed, all you see is their ridiculous logo, and no one's saying anything. I mean, all these people do is all they do is talk all damn day. Their business is talking, yapping, moving their damn mouths. That's all they do all day, is report news. They are the best bullshitters ever. They can't put somebody on there just kind of like talking about general things to make the live feed kind of interesting. No, they just stick the logo on there with some ridiculous music. And you don't know when they're coming back. You're just sitting there staring, and then there's a bunch of people in the chat box going, all the nut jobs, going into the chat box. It says 5 quadzillion people watching. They're not watching for the hurricane. They just want to get in the chat box so they can complain about politics and religion and all this crap, and almost nobody's talking about the hurricane. So, that's ridiculous. That's the only reason they're on that live feed, is for the chat box. And so let me see. The only thing that might be a little interesting is that there seem to be whispers that when it takes the turn, they seem to be saying it may land more on the eastern side of Florida. But they're so unsure about everything that who knows, right? So if I'm exhausted, I imagine everyone else is probably exhausted with the situation. And we are not getting reasonable updates from the people who know what's going on. We're not getting the updates. We keep getting all these, lame pictures of wind and palm trees and wind and palm trees. If I stand in front of a palm tree and I fart, it's going to produce the same wind that they're showing me on their stupid live feed. Nothing. Nothing. They're not giving us anything. So part of it, I'm just thinking that maybe some of them aren't allowed to say that much, so they're just kind of saying nothing. So I'm kind of really, feeling frustrated because I'm searching for information, and what's the point of having a live feed? Then just make your current report and post it like what I'm doing. Or if you have a live feed, then be talking about something. Do something, Go outside. Film a dog taking a shit on the side of the road. Something. Show us something. No, but instead they show us their stupid logo with ridiculous music. I mean, I have music going on in the background of what I'm doing now. But I'm doing something. I'm not going to do a live feed and play this music and then show my Super SHERO logo. Isn't that exciting? Woo! So we have this monster, deadly hurricane that's supposed to, decimate the planet, barreling toward Florida, and nobody's telling us shit about it. All I know is that there's no water. We tried getting water 2 days ago. We thought we were being, like ahead of the curve. Before it was, let me see. Before it was a Category 4, that's when we tried to, stock up, maybe get 2 or 3 little cases of bottled water. But there's no water anywhere. And then my husband even got up early this morning, went to the stores late last night. They said when they were getting their shipment. He went there early this morning when the shipment came in, and he still didn't get any water because everyone else got it first. So after this is all over, there's going to be all kind of people having garage sales, and the garage sale sign is going to say generators, batteries, and water for sale. You're going to have all kind of Craigslist ads, and everyone's going to be all over Slip Swap, all over Florida, selling generators, water, and batteries. Maybe even candles. Everybody's cleaned out. So they succeeded in the hysteria. They succeeded in getting these stores a lot of great business. They're all selling out. The only ones doing well in this situation are the stores. So they got a nice boost, and the gas stations got a nice boost. Congratulations to all of them for doing such great business. Meanwhile, all of the small businesses that depend on daily business, because no one's going to be out shopping, are all going to lose money and, just have to hunker down until this thing is over. But, so, I guess this is more of a rant than an update. These are my, the lame little pictures that I came up with that I have playing in the background for you. And, there's a bunch of other stuff out there, but I want to be extra careful about what I do post. But that's it, man. It's like here I am in Florida. The hurricane's coming. They declare a state of emergency. All the stores are out of all the essential stuff. And they're not telling us anything other than that it's a Category 5. It's 185 miles an hour. And I guess that's all that they know. They keep saying after it turns, if it turns. They don't know when it's going to turn. And then it makes me even more pissed off when they speculate and say just unimaginably stupid things. That makes me mad. So it's like, it's just amazing to me that this media, that all they do is move their mouth and talk all effing day about crap. This is something huge and of concern to millions of people. I just happen to be in Florida. What about everybody else in the path of this thing before it gets to Florida? Nobody knows anything because nobody's sharing anything new. How about, well, we checked, and an hour ago, this is what it was, and then in another hour, this is what it is right now. This is the pressure, like every hour or whatever. But they're not doing that. They keep recycling this information. And I almost don't even know where to go anymore to get the right information. But something that is terrifying is that some people are thinking, oh, it's turning east. It's going to be more of an eastern seaboard strike on Florida. And then all the West Coast people are going to be all relaxed. Oh, I'm so excited. We're not going to get it. You know what I mean? They kind of give you that glimmer. And, if you're going to say something to the public, I mean, just make sure that you're clear that, be extra clear that you don't know where the hell it's going to go. And, don't start saying it may be more on the east side and all this stuff, because it might end up being more on the west side or maybe more southern or whatever. So they get everybody all keyed up, and there's all these massive evacuations, and nobody knows where to go. So they're not giving us any meaty updates. So it's forever and a coon's age before you get something that's fresh and new about the status of this storm system. But I will tell you, if you look around, if you go on YouTube Live, and you can see some clips of people going through it now, those poor souls in the islands. And you would think all the islands are going to be gone. The islands are going to be they're going to be gone. There's going to be nothing there. There's just going to be the outline of the patch of land that the island was on. That's what you kind of imagine. I mean, look at the size of those tiny little dots and the size of that hurricane, and then the size of the strong winds outside of the eye. You just figured that place is just going to be wiped off the planet. It's terrifying. And people are going through that right now. Everybody can't flee, All of the Virgin Islands couldn't get on an airplane and leave. So, so many of us, inside, we're like, are all these people going to, freaking die? Are they going to all be swept out into the ocean? And the answer is no. That is not what's happening. Okay, so that makes me feel a little bit better on the inside. It makes me feel better for them. And like I said, unless you're living in a straw house, if you're in a decent structure, you're probably going to be okay. The threat remains that you have projectiles, you have trees, and you have downed power lines. Those things are very dangerous. And if it's in a low-lying area where there's some flooding, then people are going to go out and start running around. They're knee-deep in water. You got power lines. You got broken items. You can cut your leg open. The water's all dirty because, sewers and everything's overflowing. And, that's not clean water. So I'm just saying those are the things to really be afraid of. So anyway, my update is there's really no update. It's a big-ass, gigantic, ginormous storm passing through, and the meteorologists are basically telling us they don't know shit. We won't know till that thing's crawling right up our ass how bad it's going to be. Now, I am in more central Florida. I have less to be worried about, because the land will weaken that storm. It's the coastal regions that have to be vigilant, just more for the strong winds. and projectiles and some flooding. So blessings out to everybody, and you know, I pray that we get another update sometime before Christmas, because the storm is still headed this way. So do your research, poke around, and maybe I saved you a little effort, because I have been researching for hours trying to get something interesting to bring you, and there's nothing interesting out there other than the fact that the storm just doesn't look as deadly as I had anticipated. So that's kind of good. I'm not as terrified. And based on what I've seen, because I'm in Central Florida, I'm probably going to just stay right here. The only thing that can really happen to us is we do have trees, big trees around us, and that could be a problem. So that scares me. That happened during Matthew. We got a giant tree that came through the roof of our house, and it was pretty terrifying because our power had already gone out, and this was a massive tree, and it punched 7 massive holes in our roof, and we had leaks everywhere, and it happened in the pitch black at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and we couldn't see anything. There was just a big explosion, and I thought it was the apocalypse. So we didn't know till the next day, till we got light, that how big the tree was and what actually happened. So anyway, that's the biggest threat. You know, everybody, as the storm approaches, stay inside. Stay inside. You know, just stay inside. There's dangers out there. So anyway, well, that's about it for now, and I'll be back with another update maybe tomorrow. Thanks for being here, whoever you are, and stay safe. I'll talk to you soon. This is Super SHERO signing off. Bye-bye.